Frank. What's the weirdest thing you've ever saw in here?
Let me ask you a question, kid. Did you see that movie, Night of the Living Dead?
Hey, we gonna party tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
Well, where are we gonna party?
I don't know, somewhere.
Hey, we could go to the park.
Oh, no, we can't. The cops said they'd shoot us if we go back to the park.
Yeah, and I ain't in no mood to go tonight.
I like death.
Greetings, ghouls, and welcome to minute 72 of Do You Want to Party, the Movies by Minute podcast for the 1985 groundbreaking horror classic, The Return of the Living Dead. I'm your host, Troy, and joining me for this particular episode is another movie buff and Spider fan.
Spider? Yes.
Yeah,
yes, I am a Spider fan.
Spider
I mean,
fan,
I don't know
exactly.
if I'm a Spider fan so much as a Miguel A. Nunez fan.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
okay.
That's
It's
true.
Candice, by the way, in
It's
case
Candice,
you
by
haven't
the way,
figured
yes.
it out.
Yeah. It's been a while, actually, since Candice has been in an episode, which is nice of her to drop by.
Yeah,
This
it's been a bit busy in my life
Yeah,
lately.
exactly. Yeah. Well, just in time for pre-Halloween episode and all that sort of thing. But we'll go into more on that later on. So this particular minute is going to start with a wild swing of the trusty lead pipe and ends with a struggle with the trocar. It is a trocar. All right. Within the wee chapel of the dawn, a flood of pink foam oozes out of Freddy's mouth after just popping back upright. By the
so
now,
gross,
it
by
is.
the way.
Yes,
It's
it
so
is.
gross. I'm like, why am I more grossed out by this, like, blah? Like, it's, ugh, the
It's an
close-up on his
Alka-Seltzer.
mouth.
It's an
Yeah.
Alka-Seltzer tab, which is a fantastic detail and all that sort of thing. All right, now by the opened double doors stands Bert, Spider, and Ernie. The first of which pulls on the crying Tina, who is got her back against the wall in an attempt to get herself as far away from what used to be her boyfriend. Bert's hand directing the young woman to exit the room while having encountered several versions of the reanimated bodies throughout the past few hours, seeing Freddy is the one of them that is most off-putting. Then the others, as Spider and Ernie stare at him in disbelief, Tina slips between the two as Freddy growls in hunger, stands fully up, his movements a complete 180 change from the last they saw him.
He's
Like
spry.
he is spry, yep. Like a batter facing a pitcher, Bert cocks back his trusty lead pipe with both hands, and as he takes a step forward, at the approaching former employee, brings it down to strike him squarely upon the neck. Bert yelling to add to his forceful blow. The impact of which spins Freddy around and tosses him to the ground with a howl. As Tina dashes further away, Ernie in the back holding on the jar of acid. His one hand holding the lid, just in case, as Freddy falls to the ground in a heap. In front of the foremost pews, Frank scurries on his hands and knees, taking advantage of the fact that all eyes are on Freddy. And as Freddy rises again to reinitiate his attack upon Tina's saviors, that draws the three of them further into the chapel. Spider, now with his own weapon of his long-handled mallet at the ready, Bert takes another wild swing, contacting its target, sending Freddy spinning the other direction to the ground. This distraction giving Frank the opportunity to make his way, undetected, past the chapel doors. Bert's second impact, not having as much of a blow as the first, allows Freddy to spring back even quicker, and almost as soon as he hits the floor. He's back on his feet again, pressing the attack. Unfortunately for Bert, his brazen third swing is high as Freddy ducks, and in Bert's prone position, Freddy grabs onto Bert's jacket and steps behind him, yelling out his food source. As more of the froth of his mouth spews forward.
I want to hear it, though. Brains.
Spider brings the heavy tool he's wielding to strike the shoulder of his former friend. the weight of it dragging Freddy to the ground as Bert slips out of his grip. With a ghoulish scream, Freddy quickly recovers, but this time, before getting completely upright, Spider brings the heavy tool to smash against Freddy's head, causing him to drop like a rock. His body does one last second bounce before laying completely prone at Spider's feet. The cursive curse phrase visible upon the back of his jacket. Still recovering from the 15 seconds of adrenaline-fueled moments, Bert gives a soft instruction to vacate.
Let's go.
However, as they cautiously turn to exit, Freddy's hand thrusts forward, accented with a wail as he grabs for one of Spider's boots. After Spider is able to pull free, Freddy once again rises in an angry growl, determined to take the men down as Ernie steps forward and with a face of fear and hatred, opens the jar and hurls its contents in one fluid motion. The clear liquid splashes across Freddy's face, the acid burning him as hoped. Defiantly, Freddy brings his hands to his pained face, turning away from the others, screaming from the new painful experience. Taking advantage of the distraction, as Freddy yells and thrashes as the nitric acid eats away at his features, Bert, Spider, and Ernie exit the chapel, leaving Freddy to struggle with his situation. Once the doors are closed, Ernie slides the upper bolts of the door as extra security. Behind them, Bert is grasping at Tina, who is lying on the floor screaming as he calls for assistance. Leaving Ernie to finish off the securing of the locks of the chapel entrance, Spider dashes to Tina and lifts her fully off the ground into his arm, cradling her legs and back. The three exit the area post-haste. As Ernie finishes his duty of initiating the locks, he turns to find himself briefly alone in the hallway. Bert calling for him makes him take a run as the sounds of Freddy's struggles penetrate the doors.
You know what I bet would make Freddy feel better?
What would that?
Brains.
It
is funny though.
Yeah.
When Spider picks up
Tina,
thank you. When Spider picks up Tina, like she is fighting so much. She is like completely just traumatized. She has yeah, she has no idea what's happening. She just assumes everything is there to hurt her at that point. It was a really nice performance.
Yeah. Well, you've also got to take into consideration, I mean, again, for just the movie time that Tina has been in, the past 10 minutes, she's been doing nothing but crying and consoling Freddy for all this. And now that she's just come out of this basically like giant wrestling match that she just had, like friggin' no holds barred wrestling match in the chapel with just her and her ex or what was her boyfriend and all that sort of thing. So this girl has been through it. And yes, as soon as Bert and Spider go to help her, she's just like flailing around like she's like being like
she is not helping herself at all.
She is definitely not. She is definitely not. Yeah. So the four enter the embalming room, Tina clinging to Spider, Bert behind them instructing where Tina should be placed. Put her on the couch. Ernie pulling up the rear. The time is 3:12 a.m. After placing Tina upon the couch, every single upset emotion starts pouring out of Spider. He babbles almost incoherently, his flash flood of in his flash flood of words. A very stoic-looking Ernie steps to the breaking down young man and gives him a solid right-handed slap, causing Spider's head to turn in that direction, only to unexpectedly have Ernie's left hand slap him into the opposite direction. With his jaw clenched, he watches the punk recover from the scolding as he is huffing several times. Then, holding his finger up before him, Ernie reminds Spider that the creature is no longer his friend.
Not Freddy.
The currently silent half corpse, still tied in place, cries out a desperate request for substance.
Raise, raise, raise!
Finding himself suddenly beside the animated talking torso, Spider grabs at the trocar and violently raises it into the air, his intention of piercing the still cackling creature. Seeing his movements, Ernie swiftly moves to intercept, also grabbing the makeshift weapon. As his grip holds strong, Spider expresses his desire for silence.
Shut up! Marcus, shut up!
A brief struggle of dominance incites between them, only to come to a sudden halt when a racket from a distant room interrupts them, and that's where we end this minute. So yeah, so this
Yeah,
is
it's
this is
the
a
like
fun one.
the one breakdown by Spider,
Yeah.
which I
Yep.
guess, is actually really necessary. To become a hero, you have to kind of, you know, reach your lowest point and then come back up from there. And this is kind of his lowest point where he really sort of loses it.
And he loses it at an appropriate time too. Like he holds it together until he has that moment too. And you can see in his like the way he slumps himself when he's leaning down and all that sort of thing. And you could just see the emotion just babbling out of him and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think it's
And
different to see like Living Dead and or to see like your friend
someone you know
die
exactly,
and then
yes.
come back.
That's oh yeah. That is totally the friggin' straw
The
that broke the camel's
catalyst.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was basically yeah, that is what pushed him over the edge. Yeah, and again, to see Ernie have that stoic sort of like, hey, dude, like straighten up sort of thing. And again, I'd like to know the story behind the scenes of that slap because that first hit looks really, really impressive and all that sort of thing. But that second slap, the way Miguel Nunez is hanging his head, I don't think he was expecting the second slap.
Yeah, no, the first one looks like it was practiced. Like
Yep,
it's
yep.
it's a very
The
good
follow
stage
through of the
slap.
slap and all that.
Looks
Yep,
great.
exactly. Yep.
But
But
yes, yeah,
Don
the second
Koffa
one was
bringing
like,
a left-handed slap, yeah, the way Miguel Nunez's face reacts to it, it's like, oh, I don't think he was either that or he had forgotten that it was supposed to be a second slap and just like took it as a full hit because it was an impact. Like I'm pretty sure the first one was an impact too, but because you
yeah,
go
he
with
moved
it,
his head in the
you
right
move with it
direction.
exactly, yeah. But yeah, so we'll figure out if we can find out that information a little later on in the podcast down the line. But yeah, so over on the commentary track, where we have again a writer and director Dan O'Bannon and the production designer William Stout just doing their commentary during the actual watching of the movie. Now, of course, as I've stated
Occasionally
in the
talking
past,
about the movie.
occasionally talking about the movie, occasionally just watching the movie, and then exactly not giving you a lot of insight to what's happening, but maybe something that was happening or is about to happen, as Dan sometimes bring up. But this particular time, William Stout continues about how he had previously written the script, finding it to be original and humorous, only to find it amazing that when they started filming, that he became aware of some of the lines he read were serious, but were delivered with different actors becoming very funny. Dan O'Bannon points out that the audience is getting a gore from the foaming Alka-Seltzer. He
Yes.
then he then adds the fact that one is supposed to be feeling sympathy for the characters, understanding the suffering that they're going through, even though Freddy has become a monster and trying to kill the others. But that's his suffering in great pain, and how it's not his fault that he's a monster, and that they were trying to relay a dual effect. Then between the two of them, they discuss the decision of using the Walter King style painting, the large-eyed children and all that sort of thing, and how the one that they used for the movie, the painting that's outside of the chapel and all that, is actually from William Stout's mother's place. So that is actually her own personal property and all that sort of thing. And that's basically in the minute that we have for this particular. That's all that they talk about. So. All right, so according to the script, and again, we are dealing with a story and screenplay by Dan O'Bannon. We're dealing with the revision from 1983, and this is based on a story and screenplay by John Russo, Rudy Rickey, and Russell Steiner. So we're going to start with Interior, Chapel, Night, Rain. They rush in. Ernie, Bert, and Meat with their weapons, Ernie carrying the nitric acid. Tina dashes for the door. Freddy attacks. They beat him back with their weapons. A horrendous fight. While they're fighting, Frank, unnoticed, slips out of the chapel. Interior, hallway, night, rain. Frank rushes down the hall into interior, Ernie's office, night, rain, where he's alone and slams the bolt and slams the door and bolts it. Interior, chapel, night, rain. They're all still battling Freddy. Bert, bind him! Ernie flings the beaker of acid at Freddy's eyes. Freddy staggers back, grabbing his eyes. Smoke rises from his face. He blunders over a pew, blind. Ernie, Bert, and Meat rush out, slamming the door. Interior, hallway, night, rain. Ernie quickly relocks the chapel doors. Tina is slouched on the floor, weeping hysterically. Bert, let's go back to the embalming room. The others are too shaken to move. Bert continued, hurting them. Come on, everyone, in the other room, let's go. They pick up Tina and hustle back to the embalming room. Interior, embalming room, night, rain. Bert, Meat, Tina, and Ernie hurry back into the room. Tina is hysterical. Meat, that was horrible. Horrible. That was Freddy. Ernie, don't you worry about Freddy and Frank. They've gone to heaven. The thing is that they're just dead bodies that just want to eat our brains out. Cut to interior, Ernie's office, night, rain. Frank looks hideous. His skin is gray-green. His eyes are bloodshot with purple bruises around them. And he's sweating and shaking. He's in agony. Death withdrawal. Close up. Rat hole. A big brown rat pokes its head out. It twitches its whiskers. Two shot. Frank and the rat looking at each other. Quickly as a striking snake, Frank grabs the rat and bites its head off. Cut to interior, embalming room, night, rain. Bert, Meat, and Ernie are putting Tina back together. On the table, the half-corpse is writhing under its bonds. Half-corpse, groaning, oh my god! Brains! Brains! Give me more brains! Meat takes a stick and pokes the moaning corpse. Meat to corpse. Hey, what's the matter with you? Half-corpse. The pain! It's coming back! The half-corpse is writhing and moaning. Meat. Can't you make it shut up? There's a tremendous crash from the direction of the chapel. Bert, Meat, and Ernie exchange a look and then run out, brandishing their weapons.
So you can tell we're in like the climax of the movie because I think that was like 7 or 8 setups in that little section. Like there's so many different places.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Though all of the stuff with Frank in the script is actually just moved in the movie, though, right? Like I don't remember any intercutting.
There is no rat sequence.
Yeah.
He doesn't barricade himself in Ernie's office and all that sort of thing. But no, it's obviously
he slinks off and then we get
yeah.
all of the scene and then it goes back to him, right?
Exactly.
Next minute or so.
Yeah, exactly. The script also gets him from where he currently is now to where he ends up and all that sort of thing. But again, that's a later minute. That's not what we're dealing with right now.
No.
And again, just for the listeners, the script version has the name of Meat. Obviously, we are talking about Spider whenever we say Meat. And if the name DD ever comes out, we are actually talking about Trash. But everyone else pretty much stays the same. So I do like the explanation of Freddy and Frank have gone to heaven, and then those are just corpses that want to eat our brains and all that sort of thing. It actually plays up a little bit in the upcoming work print comparison, actually. So, which is again, the work print is when you film your entire movie and you bring all the scenes that you have shot together that you want to use into the movie, and then you use that to edit down to your final version. In this particular minute, we're doing the comparison, which is minute 71 to 72. In the work print comparison, we are actually dealing with minute 84:51 to 86:29. So we get actually a little more than a minute, which is kind of the nice thing about this work print comparison and all that sort of thing. So you get to see either a different take, extra scenes that were shot, or a different angle that took a little longer to pull off, all of that sort of thing. But for example, once we see Frank scurry around the pews, when we cut back to Freddy being knocked down by Bert and Spider, we stick with the pulled back shot showing the full wall of the chapel. So there's no insert of Freddy's foaming mouth and all that sort of thing. And once Spider's first set of hits knocks Freddy down, we actually see Frank running down the hallway away from the chapel. The rest of it plays out, the rest of the whole entire minute plays out pretty much as it does in the work print until actually the Ernie slaps Spider and all that. So, whereas in the movie version, he basically tells him, that isn't your friend Freddy. This is an extra little thing. He then heads over to Tina, who's still laying down on the and starts to console her and all that. And that whole entire line about they've gone to heaven, and it's just that he says that in a very calm delivery to Tina, who seems to like she's not being as boisterous, upset as she was and all that sort of thing. She seems to like he puts his hands on her shoulders and she reaches out and like grabs onto his arms while he's doing this explanation, all that sort of thing. And then while he's doing this, we hear the half corpse saying her lines and all that sort of thing. So the camera follows him getting up and turning towards Spider, who then we then see Spider steps up to the table and does the whole entire thing and all that sort of thing. So it's kind of an interesting thing, but telling Tina that don't worry, he's gone to heaven and that's not your boyfriend anymore. That's just a corpse that wants to eat our brains. But he says it in his like this relaxing manner that is so. But also the delivery again, because it's Don Calfa delivering a serious looking line and all that, but the words are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But his delivery is so honest. It's all like, of course Tina's being calmed by this phrase and all that sort of thing. Yeah.
And see, that's the kind of thing. I mean, I know they cut it, and I haven't seen it because I haven't seen the work print, but I'm sort of listening to it going, that is exactly the type of thing that, how am I going to say this? Makes a bad movie good. So there are people who try to make bad movies, like Sharknado, right? They're like, our goal is to make like a stupid movie that is just like campy and whatever. But nobody in that movie understood that they're supposed to be playing it 100% straight. They're supposed to be playing it like it's a drama, because the joke is actually that it's not that like you're
I see what you're
like
saying.
overplaying it like a drama, right? And this sounds like Don Calfa had it down. Like he knew exactly like this is a real person whose real boyfriend has just died.
Yeah, exactly.
What am I going to tell this young woman? And obviously he's also I mean, I assume he might be a bit of a funeral director. I don't know. He does like, are we sure if he's the city coroner or a funeral director? Like is he?
I think he's a jack of all trades, because I mean he has his own personal office there, so he obviously deals, and the way that his office is set up,
chapel,
he obviously deals with the public, dealing with the stuff and all that. So he's obviously a funeral director of some sort. He also does again, like you said, he works. We were introduced to him. He's embalming a body at the beginning of for his introduction. He's working on a corpse.
Yeah, he's just enjoying it a bit too much.
Exactly. He seems to be at one with the job of doing that. So he's obviously a jack of all trades. He knows how to obviously deal with the bodies and all that, because he knows how to use the crematorium properly and all that. Hence the reason why we have the rest of the movie play out. So yeah, he's probably is his business. I mean, the place is called Resurrection Funeral Home. The cemetery is the Resurrection Cemetery and all that sort of thing. So it's obviously a joint sort of thing. So I don't know if he owns the land and all that
he
sort of
operates
thing,
it. He's both the funeral director and the embalmer and all of that. But yeah, so he's like, his character obviously has the ability to speak to people who are grieving, and so turns that on in this moment, and presumably the actual actor was just like, okay, now is the part where I
Yeah.
act like this is my character. My character
Hmm.
would be able to calmly, in a like a nice, pleasant sort of way,
Yeah.
explain to this young person that their, you know, loved one has passed on.
Yes,
And then
that's no longer them. You
us,
don't
the
have to worry about
watchers,
them. Yes,
go,
exactly. Yeah.
this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, why are you being so calm and normal when
Yeah.
your boyfriend just turned into a zombie or a living dead or whatever,
Or a
a
living dead or
ghoul?
whatever. Yes, exactly, exactly. I mean that's also again the advantage of having seasoned actors like Don
Hmm.
Calfa and Clu Gallagher and all that sort of thing in these not really I guess you can say co-lead roles and all that sort of thing, as well as James Karen as well. Like these older gentlemen who are at times teamed up with these younger actors and all that sort of thing. And like I've said time and time again, especially again this particular sequence and all that, I'm pretty sure that if it wasn't someone who, again, as we've pointed out before, this is Miguel Nunez's first acting role. Prior to this, this gentleman was homeless and all that
Hmm.
sort of thing. So he puts on a tour de force in this movie and all that sort of. And again, from what we just saw of him fighting his buddy Freddie, and then having his own breakdown, and then like still like at the end of this minute, he's like, I still need to get some sort
Yeah,
of
back into action.
revenge. I have to stop this thing. He's still completely upset. And then like at the very like tail end of this particular minute, him and Don Calfa like just suddenly turn it off because they hear that noise from the other room and all that sort of thing. Of course, we all know what it is, but we'll deal with that in another minute. So it just goes to show that um Dan O'Bannon picked the right I'm sure it wasn't Dan O'Bannon himself, but he was a big instrument in the hiring process for all of the actors and all that sort of thing. Some a little more than others, but those are stories for another day. But again, when you listen to the commentary track, you hear them like the previous minute. He was the two of them were doubting on Tom Matthews' delivery, like his whole
Mhm.
entire the sequence where he changes from the shaking still Freddy character to dying and then coming back as zombie
Yeah, it
Freddy. How
is.
they, yeah,
It's quite impressive because like
hmm
the camera doesn't change. It's on him
yep,
as he dies, and then
yep,
he comes back, and you can tell, like, you can see he's
yeah.
immediately a totally different character.
Yeah, and exactly.
It's
And like in
impressive.
Don yeah, and in like Dan O'Bannon's words, he's like, look, I told him what had to happen, but how he did it, it was all him. And he was like totally thrilled and surprised that it came across as well as it did and all that sort of thing. So yeah. But yeah. So that's some more another reason why this movie is, I think, so much different than its like other imitations of this storyline and all that. So again, the George A. Romero's are completely different. Again, completely different from this. They are a serious horror zombie movies and all that sort of thing, which are well acted and well like put together and all that sort of thing. But the fact that this is like the first of its kind to make more of a lighthearted horror film in that genre where still decades now are trying to come with it. Like Shaun of the Dead, I think, is
Mhm.
probably the most successful movie to do this in the genre of zombie comedies since The Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Even the sequels of Return of the Living Dead pale in comparison to this movie. But
Yeah,
especially when you
it
get into the European made ones and all that sort of thing, which are like, okay, just straight to DVD, I guess.
yeah. It is a really hard line to toe to be both funny
Hmm.
and scary.
Yes.
And yes, this
Yeah.
and Shaun of the Dead. I mean, personally, I believe Shaun of the Dead is a perfect movie, but
Oh, I will
it's
totally
a
back you up
conversation
on
for
that
another
sort of
day.
thing. Oh yeah, that's yeah, no, totally. But yeah, no, I agree with you there. I mean, that is a comedy written from a horror point of view. This is a horror written from a comedy point of view, sort of thing. Like
Mhm.
it's a horror film with comedy, whereas Shaun of the Dead is comedy with horror and all that sort of thing.
Interesting. I had the same conversation about Ghostbusters versus Gremlins, where I said that Gremlins is a horror movie
Hmm.
written with comedy in it, whereas Ghostbusters
Yes.
is a comedy written
Comedy
with
written with horror in it. Exactly.
paranormal in
Yes,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Scary stuff, not horror,
Yeah.
but scary stuff and all that sort of thing. Exactly.
Ghosts.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So that being said, I think we're going to wrap up this particular minute of the podcast. Thank you, Candice, for joining me to give a little peek behind the curtains. We are recording this actually just probably a couple of hours before it's actually about to be posted. We had hoped that we would was having to hopefully have a particular actor on this thing. Not shaming the gentleman at all. It's totally like which it's kind of hard to keep track, especially
Timing just
this time
doesn't
of the
work
year.
sometimes.
This time of the year, especially the actors and all that sort of thing, especially with the 40th anniversary, are really busy. They just came off of an actual big convention in Pittsburgh this particular weekend, where it was a Romero themed
In
convention where
Pittsburgh. That's just,
it
sounds like
actually
Mecca.
it actually took place in the actual mall where Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead, was filmed and all that sort of thing. So it was a whole entire George A. Romero, but then again, the whole entire cast of the Return of the Living Dead were there as well. So I mean,
Mhm.
I don't blame anyone for not being able to commit to
Record a
something at
podcast.
this time.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So, but that being said, thank you, Candice. Audience, thank you as well. You coming along with this train ride and all that sort of thing. We are we're getting right into the thick of it and all that sort of thing. Do yourself a favor if you're listening to this on the day that it releases on the Wednesday, the 29th. Be sure to stick close to your podcast catcher of choice because we'll also be releasing an actual another minute on Halloween itself, and we actually do have a very special guest for that particular episode. So do yourself a favor and stick around for that because that is actually quite an exciting thing for me to have recorded and all that sort of thing. So again. We also have, again, like I mentioned, the convention. So here's a list of what's left of the conventions for the rest of this particular year for the 40th anniversary and where you can go to visit and see these actors in person. November 8th to 9th, Memphis Monster Con in Memphis, Tennessee, where you'll be able to meet Linnea Quigley and Jewel Shepard. November 15th and 16th, San Antonio Fear Fest, San Antonio, Texas, where you get to meet Alan Trotman, as well as Return of the Living Dead Part 3's Melinda Clark. November 22nd to 23rd, Days of the Dead Chicago in Chicago, Illinois, where you'll be able to meet the entire cast. December 5th to 7th, Days of the Dead, Indianapolis, Indiana, where you'll be able to meet the entire cast. All right, so that being said, once again, thank you, Candice. Thank you, audience. I got nothing else to say except see you next Wednesday. Well, I guess see you Friday, and then I'll see you the Wednesday after.
You've just been listening to a Planet Geek production of Do You Want a Party? A Movies by Minute podcast of the 1985 The Return of the Living Dead. Please be sure to subscribe, download, comment, share, rate, and review. Be sure to follow us on our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, or Letterboxd. Search for Planet Geek Productions. X, former Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky, search for Planet Geek Pod. Or send us an email to planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Our closing music is provided by Night Chill. See the show notes for more details. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and farewell, fiends.
Cursive curse phrase visible upon the back of his jacket. Yep, that's how it's supposed to say. Yep.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
You're just never going to say it, are you?
No. See, that's the thing. In the edit, I throw in the audio of her saying brains, brains, brains. I mean, it's I don't
It's
have to
just so
say
much more
brains,
fun.
brains, brains. I know it is. You know what? I do it when I get to the script part. So you hold on, and I'll get to it eventually. Okay. Um, where was I? Requested substance over and over again. All right, there we go. Hey, we still got a few minutes left and
Six
all that sort of
minutes.
thing. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so that
Yeah,
would have
I
been
had like forgotten that I agreed to do this because I was like watching movies. I finished work early so I could watch
Oh, I
two
see.
movies tonight.
Okay, what did
And
you
so
get
I
to?
had what was the first one? Oh yeah, Antebellum, the Janelle
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Monáe
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
slavery thing. And then
Mm-hmm.
I just watched Funny Games, the like original Michael Haneke
Yes,
movie.
isn't that like that? I preferred that
It's
to the. I mean, it's pretty much shot for
Well,
shot. You
it's
just got
it's the same, yeah, it's the same
yeah, 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 yeah,
director
yeah, yeah,
doing like just doing an American version.
yeah.
But yeah, so I watched the original version and like it finished and I got up and I was doing stuff and then I looked at I came into this room to
Mm-hmm.
grab something and I was like, "Oh shit, wait. I was gonna record with Troy." It's like, "Crap, what time is it?" I'm like, "It's 8:44." Oh, he didn't message me saying it was late. I was like, "Oh no, that's right. He said at 9, not at
Yeah,
8."
yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I was
I
gonna
had
try and
like
stretch it
totally
as yeah,
forgot.
yeah. All right, so I am going to let you go because I've got to do some editing. And this time
Awesome.
I am not watching the baseball game. Fuck.
Don't stay up till 3 in the morning. I could not believe it when I woke up in the middle of the night. I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and I'll just turn on a
The
meditation
game was
and
still
fall
on?
back asleep. No, I think it was probably the notification that it was finished that had actually
Yeah,
woken me up. And I rolled over to turn on my phone for meditation and I
yeah.
was like, what the hell? This like just came in saying it just finished?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
was it
I stayed up. I
quarter
stayed up
after
till
3 in the
friggin'
morning?
I stayed up to watch the whole entire thing, so it
God.
was ridiculous. No, it was quarter to three because it was like 11:45
Okay.
California time and all that sort of thing. So yeah, but I started watching it. I'm watching it. I'm watching it. I'm watching. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta edit the podcast I just finished recording.
Yeah.
So I watched the like an hour of it without editing. I'm like, oh crap! Thank God I just put the whole entire thing right up the way it was, all blunders and all. There weren't that many and all that sort of thing. I had to repeat myself a couple of numbers and all that, but it was just
Yeah.
editing in the YouTube version where I put all the movie posters when we talk about the different movies and all that
Yeah.
sort of thing. But yeah, so all right, now I'm gonna let you go because
Okay.
it's I got to edit this, and I will
Yep.
talk to you later. Thank you, Miss
Okay.
Candice, and if I don't talk to you before Halloween, have a happy.
You
Oh,
too. Yeah.
I just watched fuck a Hallmark Halloween movie that is what's
Haul
her
out the
face?
Halloween.
Yes,
Lacey
Hall at
Chabert
the
and then
Halloween. Yes,
and
that's
then
it. That's it. Yes,
yes.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now that they have a series of Christmas ones, do they not?
Yes, yeah, that's the
So
third movie. Haul Out the Holly was the
okay,
first one, and then Haul Out the
I was
Holly All Lit Up was the second one, and then Haul Out the
and then
Halloween.
they did a Halloween one. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I had a feeling the
it's
way
great.
I'm watching, I'm like, okay, this has got to be a series that I'm
Yes,
not
yeah,
gonna
because
go
you're not
back
as
and
well
watch.
introduced to the other.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
should.
yeah.
It's really funny. It's fun.
I'll have to admit it was
It is
okay. It was
absolutely the
better than
funniest
it was
Hallmark's ever been.
it was better than some of the Hallmark Christmas movies that I have seen in the because my mom's a fan of those as well. So every once in a while,
Yeah,
if I'm over at her place and she's watching them and whatnot, and then you watch these guys shooting this movie in Vancouver in the middle of July, and
I
you can
know. Their
see all the
scarf's not
fake
even
snow and all
tied.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this is supposed to be wintertime, and you're like, look like you're gleaming from the sweat and all that sort of thing. But I mean, because it was this Halloween thing, I think it had a little more of a draw
Yeah.
for me and all that sort of thing. It was entertaining, and I mean, it's a Hallmark movie, so I mean, I didn't put too much effort into it, but I was mildly surprised at how entertained I was. But I don't know if I
Yeah,
want to
it's
go back
actually
and.
like not as funny as the first movie they put out, so I'd
Okay, all
recommend
right,
it.
all right, all right.